Hey y'all, so we're back again with another news update. This is not going to be about the politicky world news. Um, this is going to be about the other realms, okay? Um, so I hope you enjoy this image. It's, yeah, you know, take of it what you will, okay? All right, so first things first, I was told by Spirit that there is now a sanction on the moon, on casting spells on the moon, and anyone who is compelled to do so from this point forward is going to be visited by someone they don't want to be visited by. Okay? Her name starts with a C and ends with an Ali. Okay? And it's not Muhammad, okay? Although that doesn't start with a C, so it doesn't really make much sense, but I think you kind of get it, all right? So yeah, so there's that. Now, what else? Okay. So I did a clearing and a recovery slash healing candle burn down for a particular person who suffered an egregious wound, and also for anyone who suffered egregious wounds at the hands of that energy in particular, because I'm pretty sure they took a lot of lives and did a lot of really messed up shit. It was pretty wild towards the end. The flame was pretty wild the whole time, which lately it's been very calm anytime I've put anybody up on the chopping block. This flame was and the totem I used was a pew pew, so like a keychain of one. I don't own one of those, so so anyway, the flame was going buck wild, and then it wasn't going buck wild like the whole time or anything like that, like in other times when I've done this, when I've run candle trials, we'll call them. run trials by the flame, that's what we call it, all right? But like like at the end it started like really tweaking out, like sinking into itself and then bursting, like it was trying to amp up to explode, right? And I was actually getting kind of freaked out. I was like, I don't know if that could actually like cause any harm, because there's nothing like really combustible around it. But I was recording the whole thing and my phone was kind of like within a foot of it, so I was like, maybe it might be able to burst up and catch on the phone and then blow my phone up. So I let it go for a little bit longer, and then I said, I called on Archangel Aniel, and pretty much as soon as I said her name, it literally got snuffed out, like, immediately. I was like, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen some really cool shit, but that was really fucking cool. Speaking of which, the quote-unquote Superman that, you know, I did a couple updates on, the one that wants to be, right? The voodoo doll. I ran a trial on them a while back, and the marker I use, because I use sigils to see where the wax lands or if they burn up the sigils, like what was activated. I used my eye symbol that I've posted a picture of, where I posted the Rofo Kali Lucy Forge Rofocali thing on my Instagram, the sigil that I came up with for myself is next to that. It's an eye, basically. And somebody's been saying, we're going to go for the eyes. We're going to go for the eyes. I mean, they already went for somebody's eye, right? And then I drew that painting of the eyes. So there's like this whole thing with the eyes, right? And anyway, so I put my sigil in there, and literally at the end, it burned a hole right through the pupil. Perfect circle. I was like, wow. So this person is extremely powerful, and I think people are like really underestimating them, and they're being fucking stupid and like not paying attention. Okay? Also, after I did this trial today or last night, it smelled like Burger King really strongly, which I've told that story a couple times about Joe G from Burger King, my first job. I was 16 at that job. He was constantly trying to hit on me all the time. And then when I was 19, I stupidly decided to hang out with him. And he was like hitting on me, and I was like, dude, you have a girlfriend, like stop. And he tried putting his arm around me, and I like took his arm off. I don't know if they spiked my drink or something. I don't really remember. I remember listening to Pink Floyd, I Wish You Were Here, that song. I was laying on the floor next to the CD player, and that's all I remember. I know I drank like some alcohol. They brought like probably 7 bottles of booze, him and his friend, and that's all I remember before the point where, you know, whatever was happening. So so I don't know. I guess that maybe was spirit telling me that that's who that is. Like, you know, that's who they decided to incarnate as in the next realm. And because they unlawfully gained access to my Stargates or whatever, they were able to hijack shit and do whatever the fuck they want, apparently. So, if anybody can hear this message... fuck. I forgot to open my window. Yeah, if anybody can hear this message, the Joe G guy, the Superman guy from YouTube, there's definitely something going on with that. Okay? And so anybody who fucks with voodoo dolls, like, you ain't right in the head, you know? Like, you're just not. Like, definitely not the way that he's doing it. Like, you gotta... First of all, when it comes to magic, there's gotta be heart and soul and depth in everything you do. Okay? Otherwise, you're just gonna fuck yourself in the end. So, I'll just put that out there, okay? Alright, next thing is... I had brought up, I believe it was yesterday, about the whole airport thing, and with, David. So I was thinking about something, and that came up, because people just bring him up all the time in readings, like, literally, like, every single reading, they're bringing him up. I'm like, y'all are like, what is this? So, anyway, it made me think about it, and I was like, oh, wow, you know, like, what other time did he pop up in my life, you know? And I was like, oh, I wonder if it, like, because I lived with my grandma when I was, like, 5 years old. We got taken from our mom. went to go live with my weird witchy aunt. And then we got taken from her, or she gave us up. I don't know. There's 2 different stories. To my dad's mom, my grandma. And then around like 11 years old, I like begged my dad to get an apartment or to let me move in with him or whatever. I guess because I was old enough at that point, because he worked all the time. So they were like, okay, now we can handle you now or whatever. Like, I don't know. Because he was living with my aunt and his father and my cousin, my aunt's son. So we went to live with them. And then we ended up moving in with him and his evil-ass girlfriend. The one that I mentioned the other day with the whole Blame last name. Her son. Alright, so... And then I moved like a million times after that. But then when I was like 19, that whole Joe G thing happened. I like, asked my grandma. I was like trying to figure out how to get out of that house, because it was like fucking with me really bad at being in that room where it happened, and like I didn't want to be there anymore. And so I asked my grandma, even though like she put me through so much shit and my step grandfather was a creep. Granted, like, he did teach me a lot of stuff, you know, and he was the only one that was even remotely kind to me, so I will give him that. But he was definitely creepy and inappropriate. So I was just thinking about how I remember I brought up that life-size doll that my mom gave me, and for some reason I just was remembering they kept that doll in this outdoor garage. It's like a tarp garage that they had in like almost like the middle of the field in the backyard. It's just so weird. They had a barn, they had a regular garage, and then they had this like tarp covered garage. I just saw, what the fuck was that? I don't know if that was, what the fuck was that? Okay, anyway, yeah, somebody don't want me to talk about that or something. I don't know. Or it's just freaking me out, and I'm like getting shifty, and thought I saw something. I don't know. It looked like black, like whatever it was, like down by my feet on the left side. I was like, what is that? So anyway, so I asked him when I was like 19, I asked my grandma if I could move back in with them. They had moved to a different house at this point from the one when I was little, and they live down the shore now. And anyway, my grandma became Mormon when she married this guy, and I grew up going to Mormon church, and then, you know, when I was 19, I ended up getting baptized in the Mormon church, and I was like heavily following it. And they would have missionaries come over every week, and one of them, when they came over, they asked me to guess their name, and I said David, and he was shocked, and he's like, looks at the other missionary kind of mischievously almost. He's like, how did she know? But it was like he knew how I knew now that I'm thinking about it. So it was like, there's definitely something up with that. And then I felt like a really strong pull towards them as well. And I was like, because you could write letters like to the missionaries, and I didn't have any friends, and like, you know, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere or do anything. I would just go to the library. I did follow the Mormon doctrine like to a T. I didn't even drink iced tea. Like, you're not allowed to, like, you're not supposed to hug anybody. Like, you're not supposed to do anything like that. You're not supposed to drink coffee. You're not supposed to masturbate. You're not supposed to do like anything that people do quite often, okay? Normally, I guess. So anyway, I had like, you know, all this like pent up lack of social connection, I guess. And I don't know, I would write some of the missionaries, and I remember writing this David one, this poem that I remember thinking was fucking epic. It like came out of me like on some epic shit. But it was something about religion and all of that. And I don't have a copy of it. I don't remember. So if this is what I'm thinking, you know, some yeah, I don't need to finish that sentence. Okay. Maybe I do need to finish that sentence, actually. I want my fucking poem back, okay? That's what I'm saying. So, one person said yes, a grandparent. One person said no, an owner of a hot air balloon. And another person said maybe no, hidden, and they're pilot. Interesting. Well, regardless, I want my fucking poems back that I've lost over the years. That'd be great. So, anyways, now, other than that, I don't really think I have anything else to talk about. Right now, at least. What are the stakes at hand, Spirit, for this? Death, psychological, professional, physical, or sometimes spiritual versus life. Person versus technology stakes. Interesting. We got house. Explosion. In the reverse. Means it already happened, I guess. There was a backfire. Bomb squad, volatile compound, car crash, resistance movement. Neighbors. Domestic abuse, creepy guy, noise, loneliness, snoop, rent, babysitter, family squabbles, house party, tenants, gossip, peeping Tom, borrow sugar, lawnmower, recluse, and charity. Under attack, barricade, cover fire, red alert, hostile takeover, gunfire, war, defensive maneuvers, raiders. Good. The fucking aliens that are fucking shit up, that shouldn't be here, that have no claim to eminent domain, they need to leave. Gravedigger in reverse. Yeah, no mourners, no funerals. Radio picks up stations from the past in reverse. Yes, there will be no repeating the past. It's over. You're done. You're all done. Alright, that's the message I have for y'all, I think. Yeah, there's a fear of failure energy going on. I rebuke that in the name of Elohim and Adonai and the Holy Ghostest with the mostest. We also got, you are being kept in another dimension in a stasis against your free will, and you're being used as a conduit. Great. That's wonderful. Ruining someone's life in dark intentions. Oh, I mean, obviously that's dark, is in the reverse. So someone's life's already been ruined. Fallen dark / evil earth angel guided by malice, scorn, jealousy, envy, and misery. Yeah, of course. Alright. Let's see. I'll do a fortune to finish this off, okay? Do what you wish, as long as it does not harm anyone. Oh, yeah, well, exactly. But, character is to man what carbon is to steel. Yeah, the steel thing. Man is steel. Character is to man what carbon is to steel. Huh, I wonder what that's about. Carbon and steel, actually. Claims to be Superman. Maybe there's something with carbon being like the kryptonite. Carbon copy. You can't copy the real thing. You just can't. That's not how it works. Alright. Yeah, so that you guys can think about that one and ponder or whatever, and I guess I'll see you on the other side. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.